Hi there, Taurus. Welcome to an abundance reading for September 2024. It's Rena here. And what I want to say is that there's a new moon in Virgo in a couple of days as I record this. It's going to be on September 2nd. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because new moons are a chance to experience new beginnings in a certain area of life. And for Taurus, I have Taurus rising. My fifth house is Virgo. Even though my rising sign is a late degree, it's going to depend on if you're watching this for your sun in Taurus. This could be like any house for you if it's your natal chart. So for your solar chart, it would be the fifth house of Virgo. And Virgo is, but you have to look at individual charts. This is just a general thing I'm saying. Virgo is all about routines, having discipline. It's about health matters and work matters. It's all the practical things. It's in, Virgo rules the sixth house in astrology. It's about health and work and routines, just like I said, I guess. But this is happening in your fifth house. So this is the house of love and creativity, particularly for creative endeavors. It's also the business that you own. So if you have ever wanted to have a business, you can set intentions around that here and maybe even take some steps. It could even be just planting seeds of intention by researching, like, what does it take for the kind of business that you want? Do you have to have any overhead? Just these simple things can get the ball rolling. Okay. And I'm just telling you, as somebody who knows from doing what I'm doing right now, is this is such a great time where you can have I don't know about a free website anymore. I certainly had a free website, but I was looking into it and I'm not quite sure if you can have a free URL. You might, but I pay $20 a month. I don't think that that's, outrageous for having, bill payment center. But you can do that. You don't even have to have a website, really. If you have something to sell, you can just, there are alternatives with Square and all that. So I don't want to get into that, there's that. I got a lot of earth energy, so I could, ramble on about that, but let's get into the reading. So I'm getting this abundance reading from a website called Emerald lotusdivination.com, and it's called Tarot Spread for Manifesting Attracting Abundance. And there are 5 cards that I'm going to pick, and I'll tell you each one. But it's great because it's not just trying to be a fortune teller. It's actually looking at this kind of systematically. Of course, there's some element of that since it's cards, where it's kind of woo-woo. So that's okay. Okay. Now this deck is new. I've only used it a few times, so I'm still consulting the guidebook, as well as because they use some terms for some of the labels for some of the cards. that they don't use in the regular deck. This is Major Arcana. The Hanged Muse is the hangman. And this deck, like another deck I have, seems to be female centric. I think it might only be women. And I have to say that if I had known that, I might have resisted buying it. I don't know, maybe I wouldn't. But I've had the last recent decks that I've had, a couple of them are just all female images. And it kind of bothers me, I have to admit, even though I'm a woman. I don't like that, because just because they used to be male centric before doesn't mean we have to go to the other extreme. We don't want to erase men. And so all you men out there, I'm sticking up for you, okay? So anyway, that's the hangman. And what else do we have? We have the devil, that's still the same. The 9 of emotions is the 9 of cups. The emotions are the cups, the suit of cups. So you got 2 of those. And then the voices, are swords, because the swords are about communication. So they always, for people who are just beginning learning about what each card stands for, in the minor arcana, what each suit stands for, this actually, in a weird way, is better, because you get the feel for what each, like the cups are about emotions. If you just heard the word cup, you wouldn't automatically think emotions, right? So it's kind of interesting. Okay. The first card is about, now this is very interesting, my current relationship with allowing abundance. What is allowing abundance? Well, my definition of allowing abundance is, how worthy do you feel? How hopeful do you feel? This will depend on, I think, like with different signs, I might even do, I think that's giving me an idea to do an astrological series on the different signs' attitudes towards money. Taurus is the ruler of the second house of money. So you would think that you guys just are so comfortable with this topic. But you know what I think? I think that if you have suffered from money trauma, meaning that you grew up where money was sporadic, or like it was erratic, you didn't have like a constant flow of money. Maybe I was going to say your father, but of course some people's primary breadwinner is the mother, or both of them. They were always working low wage jobs, and maybe they were getting laid off frequently, and so money was just like this constant stressor in your life, and you felt a sense of inferiority because you couldn't wear certain clothes that other kids had, and maybe you got mocked in school. Some of these things actually happen. I could tell you stories of what happened with me. And it's so funny because I have a brother who is a Taurus. My sun's sign is Sagittarius. I have Taurus rising, but my sun's sign is Sagittarius. So I was telling this story as a joke, and he was like empathizing with me, like, oh my gosh, that's so horrible. And I still laugh thinking about that, because for me, it wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, it was at the time, but it really wasn't, like, in the grand scheme of things. I actually am glad about the parents that I chose in terms of this topic, even though we didn't have as much as other people. So I have gratitude about that, because I don't think that either of my parents were truly materialistic people, but they were very money oriented. So I think that that's a blessing. But basically, when I was growing up, and this was like when I was a teenager in the late 70s, early 80s, having Levi's was the status symbol. and I didn't have any. So I took this little tag or something and I sewed it on to the pocket of my pants, like vertically, to look like a Levi's tag. But it was really like a plain pocket pair of corduroys. I think it's funny. And I had these, and I wanted Nikes, and we got these gym shoes, and they must have been like kind of fakes. And the Nike symbol was like upside down. It was like and I wore my upside down Nike in school. And oh my gosh, I can't even remember. I should have gotten like mocked to no extent, but I don't think I did. I wish I still had those gym shoes. That would be a conversation starter. Okay. If you're a certain age, you kind of know what I'm talking about. But if you're under like 40, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is your attitude, and this is Eight of Voices, Eight of Swords is very um like being programmed by others. Okay, so I can totally see the average Taurus person that maybe you are programmed with scarcity. So even because I remember this Taurus person that I know, that I knew, that was kind of like, that came from another country, and that was I wouldn't call this person a hoarder in the classic sense of the word, but they really did hoard. I mean, they had like excessive amounts of things. It didn't like take up that much space in their house, but I knew that it had to do with the fact that their country of origin, there is a lot, probably a fair amount of poverty, or at least lack of some degree. Um, and so these kinds of things, either you experience it, but in this particular case, it's really the messages that you have internalized. So just reflect upon that and see if maybe you had a parent who always said, that's too expensive. This is too, you know, some people will say, "Oh, I'll never be able to afford that." I mean, the late Dr. Wayne Dyer, he used to say, "Why would you say that? Like, you have no idea if that's going to be true for you." Something to that effect. If you say things like that, or if your parents said that, it's like, why do people say these things? Like, people say, "I'll never win the lottery." I don't really, the lottery might be, rigged, but I'm just saying, I'll never be able to make a lot of money. Why would you say that? You have no idea what life can bring to you and what you can do, the talents that you have. So it's like completely shutting the door on potential, and the fact that people do that is like unfathomable. Okay, how to get yourself into alignment. So if you have these old tapes playing, how do you do it? How do you get yourself into alignment? Two of Cups. Now, this is a card with emotional collaboration or spiritual collaboration. I mean, if I was doing a love reading, the Two of Cups would be about commitment to somebody. Like, if you're going to say yes, you say I do to someone, or, I'm going to get married. I'm going to go back to you because you're the one that I really love. But this is a very interesting thing, because I think that this can even be somebody that's not even in the physical, that you are aligning with something inspirational, like a person that gives you some kind of, is a catalyst for you to be inspired. I'm trying to think of, there are old time abundance writers and things like that, and who they're not no longer in the physical, but we can still read their books and find that kind of inspiration. So that's kind of how I would interpret this particular card. And in your real life, there might be people who you might even want to join with someone and be kind of abundance partners, where you're kind of encouraging each other to, manifest in that sort. Because sometimes in the people that we're surrounded by, there's like an overriding theme of negativity. If you've heard the term crabs in a barrel, when somebody tries, like within a family unit, someone tries to better themselves, and then the other family members are freaked out because they are accustomed to living, what is it called, playing small in their life. And even in your group of friends, if you are changing and you're growing and they're not, like let's say everybody's like partying all the time and you quit, and then they start to, tease you, come down on you because you're bettering yourself. They're not a support system for you. So it's kind of like a support system, but especially like a one-on-one relationship, a partnership where, you're inspiring each other. Okay, the third card is the energy that you need to integrate to have an enlightened perspective on abundance. What this means is that enlightened, meaning that it's not just about the physical. You're an earth sign, so you may just think, about the material side of it, but it's more than that. So we have the Nine of Cups. Oh, wow. Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. And actually, this card is connected astrologically to Jupiter in Pisces. And Jupiter rules the ninth house. It rules Sagittarius. And that's all about, that's the God house. So how I interpret this is that when you have material abundance, it can actually help you in every way. It can help your spiritual life, because think about it. You don't have to, like the people that are on the hamster wheel, the 9 to 5 hamster wheel, meaning that they're not just people who work 9 to 5, but the people who are like, they're just working to survive. They don't have, they can't, some people are working 60 hours a week. They're just always working because they have all these bills or they have all these material desires. Is that abundance? If you can pay for a McMansion, but you have to work 60 or 70 hours a week to do it. To me, that's not what it's about. But even if you don't have to work that many hours, but you have to invest so much energy. Like if somebody has a giant house and they have a swimming pool, but they have to constantly be calling different maintenance workers to keep up everything. That could be, it's like being possessed by your possessions. So that can be a materialistic trap. It's about the balance of the spiritual and the material. Ultimately, I think what we're looking for is freedom, sovereignty, meaning that we are free souls. We don't have to do something if we don't want to, because we have the people that are the least free are the people that are completely at the mercy of life, because they're chasing, they're just trying to stay alive, and they have nothing else. They can't even quit their current job, because then they would have nothing. They have no savings, they have nothing. So the more that we can cultivate a life where we are free, maybe we're growing our own food. And I'm saying this specifically to Taurians because you're connected to the earth. That to me is the ultimate abundance and freedom on a material level, because they can control things when it comes to supply chains and all of that. But if you're able to feed yourself, even on a basic level, even if you're just growing kale, maybe you won't starve, in kale and potatoes or something. You won't starve, Look at the Irish and the potato famine. Sometimes, you can make it through intact if you just have some things going on. But there's a higher reason for it. It's not just, I always say we didn't come here just to keep our bodies alive. And that's what the material hamster wheel is all about. Oh, can I have a roof over my head? Can I have food in my belly? Can I have clothes on my back? But we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Okay. The fourth position. I have to keep consulting this website. Now this one is about gratitude because it's current blessing I should be grateful for. You will find over and over again that this is mentioned in these types of law of attraction books and what have you, because this is a big component of that. If you are, just feeling angry because you don't have this and you don't have that, then this is about that lack of being grateful for what you already have, and it's kind of like a slap in the face, the universe of all the blessings that you've had. Even if and I'm speaking as an American. I can't speak for other countries, but I'm just saying as an American, I don't care if you are from the hood. You have a much greater standard of living than somebody in a lot of places in the world where they live on $2 a day and they live in, tin shacks. You have so much more materially and so much more potential to be able to create things. You have running water, you have all these things that other people might not even have. That's like one more hurdle that they have to jump over. And we take those things for granted. And I don't blame Americans for that, because this is our reality. That doesn't make us ungrateful, but it is something that we have to cultivate. And it's interesting. Guess what card I got for that? The Devil. Because the Devil is about materialism and greed. So I would say, if you're going to cultivate gratitude, it's about catching yourself anytime that you feel materialistic, like you're lusting after something, you want something that you really don't need, and you're not, so you're kind of in some cases, there's a term in Buddhism, the hungry ghost, where they're never satisfied. That's what they try to kind of instill in us, never to be satisfied, so that materialism is just completely perpetuated over and over again. And so it's about looking at these types of things within yourself. This is also a card of lust, by the way, instead of love, but because we're just speaking specifically about manifestation, abundance, I'm not going to talk about that. Although I will say, I don't know if I said this at the beginning, but abundance isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about your health, and just not your physical health, but your mental health. Do you feel at peace? Or do you always feel like, do you have some sort of mental disorders? Do you have anxiety? Do you have depression? Do you have, those kind of things that keep you from enjoying life to the fullest? Not in some fake mania all the time, where everything has to be a peak moment. No, I don't believe that at all. But I'm just talking about where you feel at peace in general. You know what I mean? So then, okay, the fifth card is kind of like, what should you be investing your energy into to attract abundance? We have the Hanged Muse. what I would say first, pretty cut and dried is one of the interpretations of this card is letting go and letting God. So it's kind of about surrender. I believe that fixed signs like Taurus can be controlling because they want to have they want to have guarantees in life. I have said this before, but I think it's hilarious. Sometimes, and I think I have this on my website, that I don't answer yes or no questions, but sometimes people will say, could I have the answer to these questions? Will I get this job? Will this person propose to me? All this stuff. And I tell them, I can't answer that question because nothing is set in stone. Plus, I don't call myself a psychic. I'm not a fortune teller. I don't go, yes, this will happen. Like, you are completely um, not a part of your manifestations. Like, it's all happening to you, like life is happening to you. No, I will never spread that message that life is happening to you. So I don't answer questions like that. I can give like astrological, you know, influences that may suggest certain areas are lit up and you can manifest more easily in those areas, but I don't say, yes, you definitely are going to, this is going to happen, that won't happen. And inevitably, the person is a Taurus that asked me those questions, or another fixed sign. So that would be Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo. But usually it's a Taurus, I think. Or maybe a Scorpio sometimes. But it's like it's hilarious. I mean, it has been true for me more than once. Let's put it that way. So what this means is that when you surrender, and there is a part of the law of attraction where they call it the art of letting go. Now that sounds like a book. It's called the art of allowing. So it's allowing means that you're not trying to run the show. You're letting things happen as they will. Some people micromanage their lives. And sometimes, yes, of course, you're going to be very active and you're going to be pursuing your goals and blah, blah, blah. But then there are times when you're going to just lay back because you have done all that you can. It's like if you planted seeds and you watered the seeds and then you were like taking a trowel and you were just like poking around in there. I mean, you would probably ruin your, the shoots, the early stages of the sprouts if you did something like that. That would be crazy to do something like that. There's a period we have to just let things start to blossom. So that is a great place to end this reading, because I think that, there's kind of like an equal measure of putting something into motion and then watching it grow. All right, that's what I have for you, Taurus. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, please check out the types of readings I offer at the link below. Thanks for watching. Bye.